Hello, Paper Greenhouse fans. So I wanted to show you the eucalyptus that I'm going to be doing for you this month. This is called a feather eucalyptus, and I have some really cool coloring techniques here with Design Master, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to make. So let's hop into it and get making some feather eucalyptus. Okay, my flower friends, so we are going to get started on our feather eucalyptus, and I'm going to take this outside and spray it. This is, I don't know the color number, but it's a turquoise blue. It's heavy crepe 180 from Cartagena or Carta Tecnica Rossi. And I'm going to take this out and I'm going to spray it with a couple of colors of Design Master to get that classic bluish green of feather eucalyptus. So I'll be right back after I get my spraying done. Okay, I'm back, and you see my paper is still the same color. It's really windy here today. So I didn't want to take this segment out, but I wanted to tell you that if that happens to you and it's just too windy to be outside spraying, that you can spray after you do your branch. So that's what we're going to do. And the colors I'm going to spray it with are basil, robin's egg blue, and jade tint. These are Design Master color tools, so they're pretty opaque. And then this jade is a tint, so it's a rather translucent color. So we'll get back to those colors when we're finished with the project. In the meantime, I'm going to cut up this strip of crepe paper that I have, and like I said, this is a piece of 180. It's about 7 inches wide, and it's just a whole 20-inch strip. And I'm going to cut these in two, I think. Yeah, we're going to cut some 2s and some 2.5s. So I'm just going to get in here and cut a few of these. Cut 3 strips probably of 2 inches. And I'm going to move this aside for now. And I'm going to cut some of this at 2.5 as well. So 1, 2.5. 2.5. Okay, so we're going to start with this, what we have here. And we don't really need this creping effect, so we're going to stretch this out pretty far. And you know what? You can use any crepe paper you want for this. You could use doublet, you could use fine crepe paper, you can use anything you want. So we're just going to start cutting out some long leaf shapes of these, and I'll bring this back over here so you can maybe see contrast a little bit better. And we're just going to start cutting up a bunch of leaves, and as you know, I like to cut my leaves 3 at a time. So we're going to just make some little small, because these are pretty thin, and get a little, again, we're doing the modified kind of teardrop. This one's got a little point on the end, and I left this a little wide because we're going to hot glue these onto wire. I think that's the best way I found to do it. And you're going to find that some of them are fatter than others, and you know what? That's how Mother Nature does it too. And these are going to be long and skinny flowers, or petals. So we're just going to keep cutting these up. And I would, you're going to need a lot, more than you think. And that's kind of the truth of everything we do that's foliage, is we're always going to need more than we think we do. So we're going to make some really pretty hefty stems of this. I think it's going to be really pretty. And so I'll just keep cutting. So do the same thing with all the paper, with the entire piece. And we'll come back. And yeah, I'd cut them at 2.5 inches. I don't think we really need to go longer than that. So I'm going to cut up this paper that I have in 2 and 2.5 inches as well. And I'm just going to get it all cut. So I'll come back when that's done. Okay, so we're back, and I cut up all this paper. I did cut a couple of pieces a little too short, but I'm going to use them. These are about 2 inches. This one's a little fat, but we can trim them down as we get going too. So the next thing we need to do is we need to cut up a ton of wire. You need a little piece of wire for each one of these. And I'm going to grab my heavy duty wire cutters. There we go. And you're just going to cut them probably a couple of inches long. And hopefully these won't go flying everywhere when I cut them. And maybe I need to cut a few less. I don't have the hand strength to cut them. So we're going to back off of that one. And just keep, here we go. We'll use these lighter weight ones. And we're just going to cut some, they're just random pieces, a couple of inches at a time. And because we're going to need a ton of them. It'll be longer. The hard part is going to be keeping them all corralled, if you will. Get the pieces out of the way. Grab a couple more. And just keep cutting. So cut up a good amount of wire, and this is a 26, I think, gauge wire that I'm going to use, and any fine gauge wire is fine. I would suggest you use green on this because we're not going to wrap these. This is going to be the color of the stem itself, so we're not going to have to wrap them. That'll save you a little bit of time. So I'm going to go ahead and cut up a ton more ribbon. And, oh, by the way, turn on your hot glue gun and get that heated up so we can move on to the next step. Okay, so I've got a bunch of wires here, and I've got all my petals. I'm going to start with these little ones. And if you come in and you notice you didn't cut it very well and maybe it's a little too fat, easy fix. We'll come in and do that. I'm just going to wander through these, see if some of them are fat. I think they're pretty much okay. So this is going to be real simple. We're going to just take a little bit of glue here at the bottom, a little hot glue. If my hot glue wants to give me glue, there we go. There we go. And just stick a wire in there and roll it around the wire. And try not to get too many strings, which just goes with the glue gun. Okay, so here, you can see this one's a little fat, so I'm gonna cut it down just a little. You might have to adjust as you go along. Be nimble, that's what I always say. And just put a little bit of that. Piece of wire, and just roll it on there. This is just the most efficient way that I've come up with to do this. And I have to tell you, I am a real fan of leaves that are blue. Now, these aren't going to be blue. They're going to be a little more green by the time we're done with them. But I did a wedding shoot, I want to say last year, but it wasn't. It's 2 years ago now. And it was a styled shoot. And the colors that they asked for were coral and turquoise. It was kind of a retro 50s kind of vibe. It was super fun. I met some great artists. And I put a lot of blue, because it was blue. I mean, I did a lot of green too, but I put in some blue leaves, and that was really pretty. So we're just going to keep going here. Oops. Okay. And then just, whoops. If you feel you don't get enough glue on it, just put a little more on. But that should, when it dries, that should be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put the wires on the rest of my little leaves. And you do the same. And we will come back and we'll actually be putting this together. So I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so here we are. I'm back. I got all of these done. I did come in and cut some 3.5s and some 4s as well. So we've got tons and tons of these leaves. Now we're just going to process these leaves, get them ready to put onto the stem. And I'm not going to bore you with the details of how to do each one individually, but I'll show you the process. So if you go out and you look at a feather eucalyptus or whatever's growing in around your neighborhood, you'll see that some of them have really long and skinny leaves, and they're really kind of light and airy, hence a feather, right? So we're going to come in just with our thumbnails, and all I'm going to do is basically put a crease in here that would emulate the vein for the stem. And then I'm going to, with these small ones, it's really hard. And then just come in with your thumb and your forefinger and lighten them up. And then I'm just putting them, I have a piece of foam over here, which you probably don't see. So I'm just going to line them up. So I'm going to go ahead and just process these, and I'll show you a little bit better how it works on the bigger ones, because I think these really show it off well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this crease in here, and you can see it's there. And then I'm going to just make it look light and airy, give it a little curve, and really kind of rustic and ethereal a little bit. So just going to come in and kind of crease this bottom part, and then I'm just going to use my thumb and my forefinger to do all of these. And I'm going to go ahead and do it with all of these because I want to do several branches of eucalyptus. So, and as you probably know, whenever you're doing any kind of foliage for a project, you're probably going to need 4 or 5 times more, 10 times more than you think you are going to need. The foliage has a way of doing that. So we're just kind of basically breaking down this paper. Another thing we could do is we could just take the back of our scissors and do it too. And it's going to give it that light feeling of it. And you just, because what the back of we want to just really break down this paper is what we're trying to do. So let's go through and get all of these done, and then we'll come back in and we will actually put some leaves on a stem. Okay, so I'm back and I've got all of our feathers, for lack of a better word, done. And so I've got them all. Please don't fault me. I know I'm using foam. I live in California. We hate that, but it's all I have to do it with. So I've got them all feathered up, and now we're going to just work on getting them all on a branch. So the first thing we're going to do is, so I've got some, this is the light, I think it's called light olive green, 90 gram from Cartitecnico Rossi, Cartafini. You can order it in the US. And I'm just going to cut some strips. I really like using this as my crepe tape. And we're going to need lots and lots of this. So I'll get about half of this roll cut, and then we'll just wing it from there. Okay, set that aside. So to do this, we're going to just stretch out some of these pieces. Stretch them all the way out. And you can see that's the beauty of this paper, is it stretches out so far. And so I'm going to just lay a little, come on. I'm going to lay a little line of glue here. And of course, I don't have, I think I clogged up my glue. So let's see if we can, I didn't put the top on it. Do as I say, not as I do. Always put the top on. I'm really bad about that. There we go. So that should do it. Set that aside. And I'm just going to put a little dabs of glue on here. Just keep going. This is what's going to hold your feathers on. So you kind of want to be generous with this glue. I mean, little dots, but lots of them. Okay, so I'm going to, just to start my process here, I'm going to grab, and I'm going to mix up these smaller ones together, but I'm going to grab like 3 of these and maybe 1 of these, a little bit longer. These are our shortest ones. And we're going to wrap these around the stem. So I'm going to start by just taking that and wrapping that just even once. And because these are wired, we'll be able to make them look really kind of cool at the end. Okay, Okay, so I'm going to come back up here because I don't like the way that wrapped. There we go. Come back around, and we're going to just add these in, and we're going to make these sit a little differently as we go. Piece of glue there, okay, and stick another one here. And don't worry too much. You don't need to worry too much about how they're facing at this point. And we're just going to do like these little mini sprigs of these. Because we're going to come back in and then connect these little sprigs together. Put a couple more in there. And you just want to vary them all over your okay, so let's show you what I got here. My glue went dry at the end. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to just take these and we're going to pull them out. Even these little ones. And then I want these to go like, this is going to look so much better when we get it all, the color done on it. You can see I kind of need more on this leading edge here, but I'm going to actually cut this wire in half, or kind of in half. Yeah, it's about half. And we're going to make little sprigs like this, and then we're going to put them together. I just want to kind of line them up a little. Give them a little more shape. And then I'm going to set that aside. So I'm going to cut a couple of wires and I'll come back and we'll do some more. Okay, so I cut just a couple more here, and we're going to just continue with this process and make more branches. And we're going to take all these branches and we're going to put them together and add the larger leaves to them as we get there. And again, I want some glue here. Go. Okay, and we're going to take some of these, and I'm going to make these a little differently this time. I'm going to have these turn around a little bit here. Okay, let's take this, and we're going to put one of them here. And I didn't do it on the last branch that we did, but I want to leave a little bit of that wire exposed so that we can change the direction that the petals go as we go. A couple more small ones here. And I'm just kind of mixing these up. Some of these are the smaller ones, and some of them are a little bit bigger. We're just going to come down a little bit as we go. And make sure that you put something around. How do I say this? We want to evenly disperse them around the little mini branch here. Definitely going to run this side. So I'm, as you can see here, see this is the end where we glued that onto our wire. So I'm going to just attach that just below where that is, and that'll still give us ability to kind of move around what we have. And I'm going to add in a couple of the larger pieces here. Let's grab a couple of these. I think actually, I'm going to look here a little more. I'm going to add some more of these smaller ones in first. Okay, and then we'll start adding a little bit of the bigger ones. I'll do one more. Right about here, I think. See, you can see where that, see if I can hold it close. That's where the end of the paper is. I'm going to just attach that. And we're going to make these spread out just a little more. And again, on these little mini branches, I'm kind of mixing up the sizes in here, and it just makes it a little more interesting, I think. Okay, so we're going to stop there because I've run out of tape. And we're going to do the same thing here, and you can see we can actually move these around a little bit because we exposed that wire. So we can just make them come out just a little bit. See, you can, it's funny, you can really see when you start pulling them out, you can see where your naked spots are, but you don't really see them until you open it up. That's okay. These are going to, and what I'm, in essence, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to attach these to each other and make a bigger branch. So it's okay that there's naked sparse spots on them. And let's go ahead and do another. And then I'm going to let you put all yours together, and then we'll, once you get your little branchlets done, we can start assembling those. And this is a lot of assembly, but it's really worth it in the end. You're going to really love this, and it's going to really finish off your bouquet if you're adding them to a bouquet or an arrangement. And we'll be doing some coloring on them too with some Design Master. And I'm going to make this one a little smaller. Here, let's just kind of throw some of these here to get them on, just to get us started here. A piece of glue there. We're coming down. Add in some more. Just keep adding. this. What are these big ones here? Okay, and going to just keep wrapping this. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. We may come in and add some more, but we want to just kind of get a rough start on most of this right now. So come in and start pulling them out a little bit. There we go. Okay, so just set this aside, and I think you can actually get a little better feel here of what I'm doing if I take this and I bend it here. I'll have this one coming out like this, and then I would have another one splurging even further down, and we'll just kind of wrap that into like one branch as we go. So let's go ahead and do that, but we need to add a little more tape to this one over here. And I noticed. So let's just take a smaller piece. Lots of little bitty dots. I want to wrap this stem a little here. In fact, why don't we just start building this? I think it's going to be really cool. Come down. I'm going to stop here, wrapping these together. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to take some of these really long ones, some of these 4-incher ones, and some of the 3s. And I'm going to get a little more tape here. And I am going to put the whole thing together before I take it out and spray it. I think it's going to add a little more dimension, if you will, to the piece. I lose these guys here. Okay, so come in right here in this joint, and I want to add some there. Oops, there we go. I'll take another one and put it right back here. Maybe. There we go. And we'll do another one here. Right there. Okay. So you can see now that we've got one branch that comes out this way, one comes this way, and we're going to take these, oops, and we're going to pull those out a little. There we go. we go. And then we're going to come in down here. I obviously didn't have enough glue on there. Oops. I'm making a mess. It's going everywhere. Okay, there we go. Okay. So we're going to come in. Let's see how we want to do this. Maybe I'll do that there. I think I want to add a couple of longer ones just for fun. I'm kind of looking at it, how I want it to go together. And I'm going to tear these into smaller pieces so they're a little more manageable. You know, I got to really pay more attention to my glue because he gets unhappy with me because I don't take care of it. And then it doesn't want to do what I want it to do. Yes, there we go. One more. So I'm going to wrap. I'm going to take a couple more of these. Come back up here. And add some of these bigger ones. You can hear my puppy Tucker in the background. I'm sorry. That's what puppies do though, isn't it? Okay. Come down a little further here. See where I want to add this in. Yeah, I'm going to come down a little more here. I'll just tear that off there. Come in here and bring these together. I tore that. There we go. Just keep wrapping. Keep wrapping. Okay, now you can see I'm kind of running out of wire here. And that's where we're going to add in another piece. Depending on how long you want yours to be, I think this is going to be fine. I'm going to work this right into there while I'm adding in more leaves in here. Now we're not going to take the leaves all the way down to the stem because however we use it, whether we use it in an arrangement or we use it in a bouquet, you're going to have that part that is just branched with no leaves on it. And if you were using a real one and you were making a bouquet, you probably would strip them off a little bit. So I'm just going to get this wrapped here a minute there. And then I'm going to come in with some of my bigger leaves. And we're going to start getting these wrapped in there. So I'm going to kind of come in there right below that little wire. Do the same thing here. That's stuck on my fingers. There we go. There we go. Same thing here. And I can see it's really naked over here. So we're going to add a few more. And, you know, I know that especially as a newer paper florist, we have a tendency to not want to do foliage because it's not as much fun as the bloom is, but I think it is just as pretty and just as exciting. And when we take this outside and we start spraying it with color, it's going to be really dramatic. It's going to be really pretty, and it would just set off any bouquet. Would be much prettier for having that color added to your arrangement. So take the time to do your foliage. I think it'll really make a difference the finished effect of how your bouquet looks. And I know we probably don't really focus on it enough. Right there. Okay, so I'm going to take this and try to wrap the rest of it. And let's see if we can pull this apart a little bit here. Bring these pieces out. Just keep working with it till you get it the way you want it. It's yours. You can make it look any way you want it to look. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the rest of this. I'm wondering if I actually made this long enough. I should have made it a little bit longer. But I think we'll just keep it there. And I will finish off this stem. I might need another piece, but let's just use what we got in our hand. And wrap the rest of it. Now, see how this is kind of bumpy here? I'm going to add in a little, just to smooth out that transition a little bit. Let's add in another piece. Now, again, this isn't going to show in anything that you're going to be doing, but I just think for your own benefit, make you happy, you want it to be perfect all the way. So there, now it's just adding a little more stem wrap to that. It really smooths that out. There's still a little bump there, but not much. There we go. I don't think I look there just to smooth that out. There. Okay, so we'll just make these come out. And I'm going to just, I want you to keep making yours. I'm going to be doing some more of them, and I'll show you all of them when we're done. But this is the way it looks right now. And I'm going to go outside and hit these with some color. We'll see what we get. So I will be back and show you how pretty it is when it's all done. Okay, so I just had to come in and show you what I was able to do with a little bit of Design Master. Just to give you a frame of reference, this is the color that it was before we went out. And now it's that kind of dusty, greenish blue that many eucalyptus are. And I followed my own advice that I wore gloves just on the hand where I was spraying. So I used my right hand, I used for spray, left hand I held it. And just light strokes all over, and it's got such a great variegation in it. You can still see that blue coming through in lots of spots. So I think it's really kind of cool. And I'll do some more. And you do some more. We'll do a few of these. And I think just a bunch of these in a vase, this is really, really pretty. So thanks so much for joining me. I will be back with a final wrap up. Okay, my greenhouse fans, this is what I came in with. It's really funny. I'm going to show you the differences here. So I made 2 branches, and one of them I sprayed with, I think, 3 different Design Master colors. I used the basil, the robin's egg blue, and a little bit of jade. And it came out like this. Here's funny. I only sprayed this one with the basil, and you know what? They look very much the same. So I think you could probably get away with spraying one. And here's kind of the benefit of doing it, of spraying it after you make your branch, is that because you don't get some paint on those little deep recesses inside, you're still going to have that two-toned effect that I think really is a hallmark of eucalyptus. So we've made these really feathery, and I'm going to come back in here and just spiff them up a little bit. But I think you have everything you need now to go on and make your own branch of feather eucalyptus. So let's have some more fun. I think you're going to really enjoy doing Christina's tutorial as well for the baby blue. And I will put a link in the description box when I get the link for her tutorial. So thanks so much for joining us. We can't wait to see yours. Don't forget to tag us at the Paper Greenhouse, and tag Christina and I individually as well. So thanks so much. I'll see you soon.